Hello, my name is John Gleason. This is our third persuasive speech, and today I will be discussing with you the importance of fixing our public transportation system. So, have you ever been in downtown or at home and you found yourself not close enough to a railway or a bus to get you where you need to go, but you don't want to spend $30, $40 on an Uber? Well, you're not alone. There are tons of people, if not millions of Americans, in the same position as you. And in fact, me being one of them, I find myself using the bus to go to school and to get back home. But I find myself waiting hours for the bus and the bus not being clean or there not being enough buses. And this is just a problem that we shouldn't have to deal with, considering thousands and millions of people rely on the public transportation system. So what can we do to fix this? Well, there are three things. One, we need to add more buses and more rails. Two, we need to make public driving advocates, people that have cars, able to be a public driver, be able to transport regular people around. And three, we need to be able to focus on the areas that need public transportation the most. So, according to Susan Marianne of the Tampa Bay Times, people in Tampa have to wait approximately 50 to 70% longer for a bus than they do for an Uber or a taxi. And that to me is outrageous. The public transportation system should be the same, if not better, than the private transportation system. And to me, the best way to go out and make sure that we get more of these buses and we get a rail system in place is by voicing our opinions. Me and you, we need to go out to the local governments, we need to go out to our local officials in Tampa, and we need to make sure we tell them, hey, listen, this is the problem that we're facing. These are the problems that we are in. We need better systems in place, right? So this is the best way in order to get them to allow us to have more. But if they don't want to have more, then comes the second option, right? So an average rail system, according to B&B engineers, is around $50 million, and that's for a one-way. So you're talking about all sorts of ways and all sorts of rails going throughout Tampa or any city in the U.S. being millions and if not almost $1 billion. And that can get really expensive, so it's understandable why it's hard to pay for that. But through a tax program where you make us, daily drivers, a public driving advocate, where we could basically be a free taxi to someone on the road in order to get tax benefits, that could improve that problem. And instead of paying us to take people around, you can give us tax benefits in order to take people around. Almost like an Uber, but instead of getting paid, you get tax benefits. So that would allow for that $50 million and for each train and each way it goes to not be spent. So that way we could save that money, and you could allow normal people to invest into their community and help and meet others, and it'll help spread and expand the economy. And the last thing we need to do, which is probably one of the most important, is focus on which areas actually need the public transportation the most. So, according to Aaron Frauders of the New York Times, he says that apparently out of all major cities in the U.S., the only one major city that has enough public transportation for everyone is New York. And that is absolutely crazy to me, considering that 50% of the U.S. lives in these major cities. So we really need to focus on those big areas, people where people are focused at, that need public transportation the most, especially in areas such as low-income areas or high-density areas. Those areas are the places that we need to focus most of the public transportation at. We don't need a bus out in the middle of country road nowhere, obviously. So we need to focus on putting that bus or that railway system in areas where people can't necessarily drive themselves around, or there's tons of people that need to get to one spot at one time. So this is the most important part of being able to find public transportation, is putting it in the correct areas. So overall, and in conclusion, you want to think what we can do to make our public transportation system better, so that way everyone can get where they need to go, is by is by adding extra buses, is by making everyday people public driving advocates, and by focusing on which areas need those buses and need those public transportation the most. So if you find yourself in a situation where you can't get public transportation or people around you can't get public transportation, speak up, voice your opinion. I know I am. You do your part. Let's all together get in and get this public transportation problem fixed. Thank you so much. My name is John Gleason. My references are Susan Mary Anthony of the Tampa Bay Times, Aaron Rogers of the New York Times, and You Can't Hear the Whistle Blow 100 Miles, ABC New York Network, and the abcnews.com app, preparing files and tracking discussions with Wilkins K. Friedman, and Better Buses, Three-Way Systems to Go, Anthony Elengini. Thank you so much. You have a good one.